And it was not off. Sometimes it can what would happen, I don't think.
That's great.
Exactly.
That's what Michelle, we were in Seattle, and Michelle said, what she said, I was like, what you done?
Yeah, I know.
Exactly. He said something. Give me just a second. Somebody else will sign in, give them a minute, and I'll go get it. You're good.
That's what I'm saying. Me, we were like there a few times, I was in the state, I was like there something though. Ben would go in there. Stay in here, man. Me and Milo, the dog, they wanted to I'm tired, but that's cause I get tired. I didn't want to go to sleep too heavy because something, you know, the alarm went off and something, or at least what.
It's pretty good dirt.
Yeah, yes. And I'll keep up with that, just kind of running that part of it.
That's a, yeah, that's a transition, resolution.
I'll explain that. Get to it.
We're just trying to figure out how to do that.
I got it.
Let's try to get it.
Okay, it's 5 o'clock. It's time to call the Smith County Regional Planning Commission to order. Bill, if you have a prayer.
Kind of just have probably be thanking tonight for the ability to come here, Lord, and discuss our business. Lord, we just ask you to watch over, lead us, guide us, and direct us, and give us your wisdom. We will do what's right and pleasing to you. Lord, we ask you to be with those that are sick, lost loved ones, Lord, and just watch over them. Lord, forgive us where we failed. Lord, we thank you for your son, Jesus Christ, and his salvation. In your gracious name. Amen.
Roll call.
Roll call. Pascal.
Here.
Kurt Bass. Mason.
Here.
Russell.
Here.
Winfrey.
Here.
Shoulders.
Here.
Underwood. Dixon.
Here.
Leash.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
We do have a forum.
I do want to explain before we have the public comments, there's 3 minutes for everybody. At 30 seconds, I'll say 30 seconds. That is the county, is a county regulation. And you can't pass from one to the other. It's 3 minutes, am I correct?
Yeah, that's governed by a county code resolution that the commission passed, it's, yeah, whenever it was, but it's 3 minutes per speaker.
Okay. So
Where-
you can call out the names and you.
Where's the resolution that you can't give your leftover time to the next person?
The resolution specifically says 3 minutes per speaker.
Yes. you
But
can
where
yield
does
the
it
time.
say that
No.
you can't yield your time?
That's not provided for in the resolution.
That's how these functions work.
Not how ours, it's governed by the plain language of the resolution.
Where's the resolution?
That's okay, just go ahead with the next person.
Is that Johnson? Is that good?
Yes, yes, yes.
Linda Johnson, 3 minutes.
Go ahead, pass me, go to the next person.
Janet Wilkerson, start right now.
Me, I've said all along, I don't want to ever say that someone can't do with their own property what they wanna do. I still question if the final plat should be approved, until the the property line issues are resolved. My reasonings are, I understand in note 10 that tract 6 is being segregated out, or septic and everything has not been determined on that. But if the property line issues are resolved in Lucinda's favor, to me, that moves her property line over closer to 1 and 5, and I question whether or not you would have access to the field lines in 1 without some type of easement through 5, which is not marked on this schedule. That's just me being hypothetical, trying to figure out how to read all this since this came up. But I feel like the property line issues could have an impact on tracks 5 and 6, and that should be resolved before this is approved in final. At last month's meeting, it was mentioned what would change when this came back. It would have soils, cemetery, those were a few items. I don't see anything on the copy that I have in either A now or track 2 that mentions the cemetery, that still has been under question. I spoke with my 85-year-old uncle, soon to be 85-year-old uncle, who stopped by the house the other day, who lived in Wilkerson Hollow, and to his memory, there's between 30 and 40 graves in that graveyard that comes down the hill. And he was in 3, but he couldn't remember, it was 3 or 4 rows. He also had a cute little story about why all the rocks were piled up on the main crypt. If you wanna know it, I'll tell you later. But if that is true, and there is supposed to be a 10-foot buffer from my understanding beyond the last grave, depending on where that ends up, I question if you have the road frontage with the road tiles and everything in 1 and how all that works. I don't know. I'm learning as I go here. So it's never my intent to tell someone what to do with their property, but I still question if enough answers have been gained with some of this to answer those questions, and if we should move forward, or if it should be moved forward with tracks 2 through 5. If Lucinda proves to be true with her property line,
30 seconds.
how will that work out? I mean, is she supposed to give an easement through her backyard, or is it gonna go through 5? 5, there's no easement marked. It's my understanding in the regulations that should be on here tonight. Once again, that's me looking at this and making a hypothesis. Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan Stover.
I'd like to clear up, legal language definition has been manipulated to suit the subdivision proposal and has been, legally misinterpreted. The reason that is given for the division of land is not being, or following the subdivision regulations is that, and I quote, "It does not have a new road running into it." The reason given is a dramatic misreading of the definition and a lack of legal understanding of the word "or." The exact definition of the terms of the subdivision regulation is, quote, "division of a tract of a parcel of land to 2 or more sites, or division requiring a new road or utility construction, or, not and, or any division of less than 5 acres for the purpose, whether immediate or future, sale or development. Very unambiguous, the word or, not the word and. The language of this document and the word or is clearly stated that if a division of land over 5 acres with a new road on it, or any division less than 5 acres, regardless of the new road's utilities, is considered a subdivision and must follow the regulations therein. I'd like to see a show of hands for those on the council who have ever read the subdivision regulations of Smith County, Tennessee in the full 9 pages. All of them? Okay, so no. That, to me, how do you think that it's acceptable to vote on that in which you've not read the entire regulations? I have, several of us have, none of us have been able to find the previously cited stipulations that exempt the project from being defined as a subdivision. Not a single person on this council has been able to produce any documentation or a single citation referring to these magical exemptions to the law. Yet you have knowingly and or willfully ignorant in willful ignorance voted to proceed on the approving a development that violates multiple lawful regulations. These are only three of, skip that part. Mr. Carmen also stated to me that he would come out to my property, that he would contact me between the interim and find the cemetery and allow me to show him where I believe it to be.
30 seconds.
And that was not completed. He never contacted me and it is not on the plot. And I have additional corroboration from historical people who've been in this location historically that say that this cemetery exists where it is not being approved.
Okay, Karen Raggett.
By not changing the zoning on all the lots that you're wanting to put in out there, they're extremely limited. The state of Tennessee says 5 acres is agricultural. None of these fit that at all. It's not agricultural. You're about to drop a subdivision in our neighborhood, in our community. The culvert is not on the plat map. Once again, it comes across Wilkerson Hollow into lot 2, I guess it is now. That's not showing on there. That comes down from my property and the Ellis property. That's not on there, along with the cemetery as well again. I'd like to know how many of y'all have even come out onto Wilkerson Hollow and actually looked at what you're gonna do. So when is the county going to make our road 18 feet according to what you say it is? Because it's not right now. It's been over 5 years since we've had any maintenance on that road. And we've talked to Mickey. He'll tell you the same thing. So are we gonna wait another 10 years while these houses get built and our road gets worse and worse? Some brilliant party built those 4 houses down on Bluff Creek. One of them's been vacant over a year now. I believe it's in foreclosure. Those people are in a floodplain. Y'all approved that.
That is not floodplain.
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
it is.
Yes,
State the
it
fact.
is.
No, it is not.
I
Yes,
looked
it
it up
is.
on the
It is
USDA,
floodplain.
or USGS.
No, it is not floodplain.
Pull it up on your
There's only-
phone. You'll see.
I know it's not. I'm the one that bought it.
I pulled it up. I looked. It's floodplain. I don't want my time taken away because of these interruptions either.
Well, you gotta
Those
state the
houses
facts.
are,
if you're
I'm
gonna come in.
10. Those houses are in a floodplain. You're adding 5 more that's gonna run into that creek behind them. And then you've got all those field lines on everybody else's property but their own and crossing into easements. It's not agricultural zoning. It's residential. It's a subdivision. Y'all are gonna decimate the area by doing this because nobody follows the rules here. I don't get it, but you need to go out and take a look. Drive down the road, measure it yourself. We all have. It is not even close to 18 feet. Not even close. Thank you. Can you pull up the floodplain map on your phone?
That conclude the comment. You got your minutes for your April 21st meeting in front of you. Take a second look at them, if you've not, and I'll take a motion to approve them as they are written. Motion on the minute. Second? Second. All in favor? Okay, item number 4, consideration of final subdivision plat for property located on Wilkes Carter Lane in Bradford Hill Road. I came in here with something on my mind, but the more y'all talk, I might change my mind. And it's not in your favor, so I just thought I'd let y'all know that. Okay, the plat is before us. You got some new plats, Jim?
Yes, sir.
Just look at the ones on there, we can look at one. All right.
If you
since
need a big
last
copy,
month-
I'll be glad to give you a
That's
big
good,
copy if
that's
you need
good,
a
I
big
thought you
copy.
might have some big plats.
And just from my perspective, guys, we've been over this the third time now. If you got any questions, I'll try to answer.
Okay, the big thing that's come up since last month is the perk sites on this. Everybody look at these perk sites. Track 5 and 6 has no perk site at all. Track 2 does perk.
No, 2 don't, that. 2, 5, and 6 have no sign.
Pardon?
2 does not either.
2 don't have a perk site, it's got to come back across that other side. Okay, I'm sorry, I can't read that. I guess that's 2. Okay. So, all the perk sites are on site 3.
And a little on 4.
Pardon?
There's a little bit on 4.
Part of, yes, part of, and that's probably that is lot. About half of lot 4, perk site is on lot 4. There's a perk site 6 that comes down here on lot 1. We pulled lot 1 out as a separate area in order that could sell. And that is on that plat that's separated out.
That on 1 is for 6?
Yes.
It wasn't on the
Yes.
plat, the first
Okay.
time we pulled it out.
Yeah, what we've done is we pulled this plat 1 out, and if you got a copy of that, but it is shown,
Okay.
now, we can prove that plat 1, the lot 1, and let it sell, where they can sell it, independent from the rest of it. But the way it's shown now, there's a perk site on it, coming off of site 6.
Let me just interject one thing.
Go ahead.
The first lot with the house on it, Tommy and I both looked, and on that plat, there is existing septic tank, and that is on that one, it isn't on here. But it does not, there's a septic beside the house in the back part of it. That's correct, the existing house. That is, and that plat, for number 1, Tommy and I both have the administrative rights, and that was part of our procedure last month, and we did both look at that, and that has been approved, but it, like I say, on this map, it doesn't show that the existing septic that's already there, but that was on the plat that was approved.
They've got a copy of it in their packet.
Yes. Now, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Any other comments?
Mike might explain that having easements to borrow septic, that's been done here for years. It's nothing new.
Right. I agree. I don't think it's been done as extreme as on that lot 3. That's pretty extreme, man. I'm not even sure you got a place to build a house.
You are right there, Tommy, you can chime in too, but you can't have an easement to see.
I mean, yeah, these are done all the time.
Of course, that has to be on the deed. Jeremy.
And you got, or that's one of them buyer beware deals, you gotta be aware of what you're buying.
Is this gonna auction or is this, just getting ready to sell individually? I know we've made Digger and different ones before, have special announcements.
Yeah, it would have to be, it'd have to be disclosed before it's sold, yes, definitely, yeah.
Your plat is the disclosure.
Yeah.
For that.
My opinion, I don't like it all being on one track. I think that sets up lots of problems down the road. I mean, if you buy track 2 or buy through 3, you might as well buy 3 or 4 because there ain't nothing you can do with 3 because your septic lines have pushed you all the way to that. I mean, you've been nearly been the road and that don't make sense. To me, it would make more sense if you really wanted to divide it and sell it. You just take that whole piece and make 2 tracks out of it. Take two 6-acre tracks and then you got septic, then you don't have those problems or those issues, but that's, I'm not the owner, but I'm not comfortable with it as it is. I mean, this is not, we didn't see it on the preliminary, and so, I don't feel comfortable with that. And I understand you guys know it's been done before, something about that just don't feel right. Has it ever been done where every one of them pretty much was on one track and pushed out?
I don't remember that. I don't.
I saw it.
I've never seen one like that.
There's some big tracks over on Hickman Road over, right there where Daniel, what's his name? Seaman's, right there, Daniel Seaman's, that track right there, his house is on. There's about 4 tracks there, they were big tracks too. And at least 2 of them, or not 3, came back to one track, but they were they were probably 5-acre tracks. They were big tracks.
So that one, this is just, 2 point,
Well, I mean,
just a little over 2?
as far as that goes, if it's over 5 acres, it wouldn't come before us anyway. And y'all know.
And there could be plenty of room for that. I'm like, yeah, there ain't no room. And, I mean, like they brought up earlier, if you have a property line dispute here and that moves over any, then that's going there.
I don't know if I was appraising that lot, even for the finance, and I'm an appraiser, help me, and it wasn't supposed to be at one time. I'm not sure how I would value that lot 3, as far as the loan from the bank. I mean, you'd have to disclose that. And then I would have to explain that out in that value. And it would have to have a lower value.
Looks like to me it had no value other
You know, I don't-
There's plenty of room to build a house, if that's the question. You've got a good 100 feet between the soil area and the front setback.
Say it again, Jim.
I said, there's plenty of room to build a house. You've got 100 feet plus between the soil area and the front setback line.
You got that much?
Yes, sir.
Wonder what they could have just tracked off that second lot 2 soils. Made that made that like a 4-something acre. I don't know, that wouldn't help us. Ain't no way to do it for 5.
Even
The
more.
problem I see, and there ain't nothing illegal about what they've got drawn up. But if somebody buys track 3, and somebody will, and don't have a clue what they're doing, they can totally mess up the souls for the rest of them. I've seen it happen.
Well, if I'm off track 3 and went back there and built me a barn back there on one of those soil sites,
All you gotta do is turn it up, put a garden in it, am I correct?
Drive ahead, I've almost been turned down for driving a track over crossing.
Yeah. That's
I
all
mean,
you gotta do.
they've got a lot stricter in the last 5 years, it's not like it used to be.
drive a track over across the field line.
Just because compaction, you can't, I mean, they don't even want you to drive, you know, dozer or nothing across them anymore. They don't want you to drive pickup truck across it too many times. I've almost lost a piece of property like that before.
Any more comment?
Eddie, Jeremy, sorry. Your Honor, whatever you. I was asked, last week about, or last month, about your obligations as far as if things are drawn and whether or not you can vote yes or no. And there was a little bit of a discussion about, you know, well, what's been done in the past, things like that. By the language of the regs, this body, even if everything is drawn correctly, you know, you use the word legal, even if it's drawn legal, you know, you have some leeway, just because everything matches the box, if in your, and not just because on a whim you don't like somebody, you wanna vote something down, but if in your, I mean, all of you have been on this, some of you for many, many years, if there's legitimate reasons why a subdivision is not, it doesn't fit muster for you, because in your experience, it's just something strange. You have the ability to not approve a plat, even if in all technical senses it's there, and it's been drawn right. Now, I will caution and say that if that's a route, that hasn't happened much, and if that's a route you go at any point in time, regardless of this scenario, there needs to be a foundation for it as to why you're, and potentially even some form of feedback as to what the reason, you know, and how to resolve it. And probably may be able to talk about other counties, maybe how some go about that, but I just don't want there to be a misnomer that just because all the technical boxes are checked, you have no
Moral.
or
Yeah,
common sense or
well,
whatever.
And Jeremy, I mean, I believe Article 3, Section A is suitability of land.
Right.
And then you have land physically unsuitable for subdivisions and land unsuitably located for subdivisions. To me, that does allow us the ability to deny plat if we deem fit. But it's like you said, you better have good reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
mean-
you have to document it in the records.
There's not any of these lots, just say that we had, this water's not even platted. Somebody come in here and we staked off 2 acres and they wanted to sell 2 acres off of this tract. They went to mine. And whoever is on the 1 acre, there's nothing here that says that wouldn't be okay. See, that's the difference in this and a subdivision. Difference in this and a subdivision, all the utilities are there. We could go in there and sell 1 lot today, 3 years later, sell another lot, 3 years later, sell another lot, and never have it platted out. And that would be perfectly legal.
Well, that's kind of what happened with that track B right there.
Well, but even if we administratively approved it, I mean, there'd still have to be a show, at somewhere, sometime, some point, what you're talking about here is gonna catch up to you. You know, the soils issue is gonna catch up eventually, even if you did it 1 or 2 acres at a time. Yeah. If you went back and I'm gonna sell it just like that, but not flat, well, 2 ain't got no soils. Right, you're gonna have to pull it from somewhere, so eventually it's gonna catch up.
Any more discussion?
So I say a 2 lot instead of 2 6 acres would be much better there. The soil's way out.
And so that's what.
There's not that much of a boundary dispute. I left a lot of extra on that side.
Would they be willing to, I'm just listening to the body, would they be willing to do like Josh is saying, and put 2 with that soil and 5, you saying maybe take that triangle right there?
Say that again.
Taking the back part of track 3 and putting that soil area with 2 and not putting a boundary line there.
I mean, I don't see no big issue in that.
And then taking the corner off of 1, so 5 actually is attached to the center soil on track 3. And that's still gonna leave you 1 point something acres on track 3.
I don't have no idea what you're asking now.
One now, Josh, has already been approved.
One is already gone.
Oh,
Well, I'm just saying, can you come through the back of 4 or through either way?
What
So you actually have, this is tied to 5 instead
I
of
don't-
even across, is it going across 4 or is it going across?
well, it's going across 4, it's right here in the back right now.
but instead of.
I couldn't, without being in my computer, I couldn't tell you whether that was big enough or not.
I calculated 142 and 20 foot, if you just put this easement with 5, it'd be a odd shape.
Oh, well, that's another deal right there.
But would that make that less than the.
No, what he's saying is just put.
Oh, just the easement.
Just the easement, so.
Yeah.
But this is-
And then, hey, when you come through, I mean, you still have to have see.
It would just tie this.
Okay, I'm gonna call a question here in a minute. Wind up and discuss. Final comment. All right, now, we approved the preliminary last month, this is the final. I'm asking for a motion to approve this final, or disapprove this final, whichever you wanna put it.
Yeah, just remember, if you make a motion to deny, you gotta state why.
Say that again.
If you make a motion to deny, you need to state why. That's to be part of the record.
You people, we've got a meeting going on. I mean, y'all are the next meeting. It starts at 6. We would appreciate it if you not disturb us right now. Just sort of hang on loose and behave for a minute. Let us get through what we're working on, and then y'all can have your time. Okay, I'm asking for a motion to approve or disapprove this plan. Whichever you wanna do it, however you wanna do it. If you wanna approve, motion to approve it, we're gonna vote whichever way.
Jeremy, what would the motion to deny need to sound like?
Well, it's just like Tommy just said, you need to explain, I think you need to, at minimum, state the reasoning for the denial. And he brought up I don't remember the article, you both.
Article 3, Section A, suitability of land.
You know, if that's your foundation, what's your suitability problem? You know, I'm hearing that your issue is with the congested soil sites. You know, I think you need to, at minimum, state those.
I'm not making a motion, I have a question before I wanna vote. For me, I don't like it, but just because I know it's perfectly legal, I think he's done a really good job. I think long-term, somebody's gonna suffer from it. I would be willing to vote for it if it was tracked a little bit different, and that would be put the back soils area with track 2, and the easement that is with track 5, to add track 5, the easement and the soils, so it's contained. That would make track 3 down to a little over an acre, it wouldn't be as big of a lot. I don't think it would hurt his value from a sales point, and I think it would save a lot of trouble later. As far as track 6 being on 1, it's adjacent to it, and I've seen that done a million times and never had trouble with it. If you was to lean towards not approving it, does anybody think that's gonna?
If it goes to 2 6 acre tracts, you don't have to go over the lot.
That's not what he's saying.
If it goes right,
Yeah, if it,
if it goes to 2 6
if
acre.
it's
I'm leaving it the same, what I'm talking about.
I understand what you're saying, exactly.
It'd be the exact same one.
But remember, Josh, we're talking about right here, what's on this plan.
I know, but I would vote I would probably vote for this, but I would vote against it if I knew that we could get it tracked correctly, what I think's correct. I'm not saying it's Jim or nobody's done anything wrong, I'm just saying later on down the road,
I wanna say this,
somebody's gonna put a hurt on somebody.
Jim does a good job,
He does
and
great.
Jim's in and out of here just about every month. So I wanna thank Jim for what he does do, we don't have to question Jim very often.
No, that's fine, I don't have a problem with it, listen, y'all build the box and I stay inside of it, that's just the way it works. I work in a bunch of counties and they're all different, and everybody has a different box. I mean, I don't mind investigating altering the boundary lines to put each lot's soil on its lot, except for track 6. Except for track 6.
I don't
But
think
the,
any of us
but,
are- I
but
don't
the
think any of us
plat
are
that I
really
bring
concerned
back to
about
you, the plat that I bring back to you is gonna look 99% like that,
Just like,
just so you understand that,
other than the boundary line.
other than the boundary lines. The soil areas will be in the same spots, they would be on their respective ownership lots. But the,
Track 4 doesn't bother me, and track 6 doesn't bother, the other doesn't bother me.
I understand.
As long as the respective owner of 3 doesn't tip the wagon somewhere down the road.
I understand.
And I've
that.
seen Lanny do it.
No, I understand, I've seen people do it, and
people that's built for years, totally.
I mean, I've seen people trespass and mess up stuff too, so.
To bring this one over some. Could you do this, Josh? Could you put 5 and 6 together, which gives you down there on one, so leave 4 by itself and then combine it to 3 when you go down to 3 tracks.
You could, but what I'm trying to achieve, and what I'm saying, is not to affect him and a sales price. And if you take that down 2 tracks, we're really hindering what he can get out of that land. Or 3, whatever the number of tracks is. But if you track it the way I'm looking at it, and I've not tracked as much as Jim, I've built a lot of houses, looked at a lot of tracks, but if you track it and you put 2 together and 5 together, I mean, did that keep somebody from track 3 from getting on your property, to build a barn, to build a shop, to put a pool in, whatever they may be doing?
Or a concrete slab.
Well, that's not, you can tear the slab up, but
It's not on us, it's on.
at that point, it's like. Yeah. You go to other places where I travel, we got South Carolina, Georgia, we're working New York, different places now.
Hey, Tommy,
You see
can
all
I ask
kinds of
you,
different stuff. I would just like to see that cleaned up personally.
Tommy, I'd like to ask you an administrative question, if you don't mind. Excuse me, Chairman, may I ask Tommy an administrative question, or Mr. Hassler?
Yeah.
If we bring in a different final, when can we bring it in? Or what would that look like?
Yeah, so with these number of lots, if it's 5 lots or less, you can bring it in for administrative review, however,
Well, they've done,
yeah,
Decided that
they've
wasn't-
said that they wanna see this at final, so it would be at next month's meeting.
okay, but we,
And I also think if they were to deny it, if they were to deny this final, and they went back and changed the lot numbers, I don't think it has to go back to preliminary. I
No, it
think
can go
could
straight
just-
to final.
Even if you change numbers of lots,
Correct.
even bound, whatever you may change.
it would just be boundary line changes in amongst the soil units is all it
But,
would be.
and you correct me if I'm wrong here, it does need to be to my office at least 7 days before the meeting, am I correct?
Whatever the rest say, yeah.
Yeah, whatever the rest, I don't have that.
But,
in mind.
yeah, I think that's correct.
Jeremy, let me ask you this for the investor side, can we approve subject to it coming like we say? I just hate for the investor to go through all that and we still.
I think we should see.
No, I mean, your vote last month was the body wanted to see the final, I don't know that, I mean, you could go back on that, but,
All
I mean, a body can undo whatever the body's done, but.
right, all right. Can we just do what we talked about, they do what was talked about earlier, just deny it for Article 3, Section A, for congested soils, and ask to have it redone and brought back before us
Well,
next month?
that will be up to the,
Yeah,
to the
if-
developer, if they want to.
Yeah.
But, we can talk about what they might do with future drawings or whatever, right now, we're
Sure.
considering this right now.
Yes,
As presented. As approved by the preliminary plat, so.
yeah.
But I don't know that you need to, well, if it's denied, and stated denial is based off of, suitability of subdivision.
Yeah.
And the concern is the congestion of the soil sites, have you really fixed anything by just moving the boundary lines? Is it any more suitable at that point, or are we going back on what we've even?
It is for me.
Yeah, because you ain't gonna, this one person ain't gonna own all of it.
They're not gonna own all 4, all sides.
But based upon the discussion, if it were to come back and, see, because lot 3 has 3.5 soil areas right there.
Yeah, oh, I know.
If it were to come back with fewer than that, that's different. That we can review that, clean slate, and make our decision based upon that. So, do I think if the soils were on their own property, or at least most of them, I think it would be a different scenario.
I'm waiting on a motion.
Motion to deny based on the suitability of the soil sites.
Second.
And Mayor, just so we'll clean this up in the motion, you're saying that due to the number of field line easements and all the track and all the soil sites being on lot 3?
Yes.
Okay. Let's call the roll after discussion, Mr. Chairman.
All right,
Any other discussion before you call roll out?
yeah.
Any further discussion? I've got a motion and second to deny it because of the, what are we saying? The
Suitability.
Suitability of land.
inability to purchase, basically.
Yes, and just remember that a vote of yes or aye is going to be to deny. So make sure you understand that. A vote of no or nay will be to not deny.
All right, we ready?
And keep in mind, when it comes, like Tommy said, when it comes back in next month, it's a clean slate
Clean
discussion.
slate. If motion passes.
Right.
Okay, we ready now?
Yeah.
Okay. Paschal,
Yes. To deny.
Mason,
Yes.
Russell,
Yes.
Winfrey,
Yes.
Shoulders,
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Josh Dixon,
Yes.
Leash,
Yes.
okay. All in favor? Motion denied.
Item number
Motion
5,
passed.
staff.
Motion
report.
approved.
Motion.
Yeah,
Pass,
motion.
two denied.
Okay, let me just say, look over the staff report, if there's anything, any questions at all, I'm sure Mr. Lee would be glad to answer them, or I will either one, but if not, I'll send it back to the chair. Thank you for
Item
putting the
number
staff
6,
report together.
other business as necessary.
I have been, Mayor Fox and I talked the other day, and Mayor Nixon as well. There's a engineering firm we use, Collier Engineering, and they have a division that will take for current zoning and regs and review them and suggest changes based on what we're seeing in the market. Would y'all be willing to entertain that?
Yes.
Okay.
I would have been, and I think we all would. Cause just looking down through this, it was put together at a time, and I'm sure a lot of people wasn't even sure what they're trying to do.
Right.
And things have changed a lot in the last 25 years.
The older it gets, you're gonna have more of this because we just having time to catch up on the little things that we hadn't seen.
But it's not, Jeff and I talked this morning, you know, there's a possibility of a piece of property that's going with a 2-inch water line. Ain't no way we can approve a 2-inch water line, so I mean, we need to change those regs. If you ain't got 4 inches of water line, we'll bring it up. Because, I mean, it's gonna cause more issues down the road. I mean, I've heard you tell me times about your road, where the water line is and what size it is.
When I died, I don't know what to do. I backfilled it all, so I know where it's all at.
So, just some things, and something Mickey's been talking about is some subject. I mean, we can't fix what's already been done or make that changes, but going in the future, we need to
But
really.
you need to plan, knowing that that's gonna have to be fixed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And sort of schedule ahead, and it may be 5 years, it might be 25 years, but somewhere down the line, that's gonna have to be dealt with, yeah.
Where are they out of?
Out of Nashville, Collier Engineering, they did some work for us already.
Motion to adjourn,
I will, so move.
all in favor?
Yeah.